Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Diane, and we've been married for 40 years.
You know, we've talked about the idea that you can design your marriage in the same way as you might design a new house. But whatever your house might end up looking like, we're now going to talk about what holds it all together. What holds our marriages together. It changes it from being just a house into a home, built to last. And it isn't love, it's commitment.
So when you get married, whether that's next month or next year, you're choosing to commit to the other person. And it is this commitment that holds marriages together. We've talked about choosing to do things in your marriage, like communicating well and forgiving each other. When you marry, you're choosing this person above anyone else. And you're telling the world that this is it. This is the person I plan to spend my life with.
Now, we may go through times in our marriages when we don't necessarily feel in love at that moment. But it's at these times that commitment really makes a difference. When Dan and I had been married for 7 or 8 years, we went through a rocky patch. I remember saying to an older couple we knew, I just don't feel quite so in love anymore in the way I did when we first got married. They told me, keep communicating, persevere, you will get through it, it's completely normal. And I can tell you, it was such a relief for both of us to hear that.
The truth is that feelings can change all the time, but commitment helps us to ride those ups and downs.
When we get married, we're making a public declaration of our commitment to each other. We're effectively saying, I choose to love you. Whatever happens, however I feel, whoever I meet, whenever we have problems, and whether or not I feel in love. When we get married, we promise to be there for our partner, regardless of our circumstances.
None of us know what the future might hold, but our commitment says that we're in it for the long haul and we'll support one another, whatever life throws at us. And as a team, we'll get through it together.
We've been married for nearly 18 years now, and I suppose it was in the first couple of years we began to realise that Mark's eye condition, which you'd already had a little bit, hadn't you?
Yeah, when I was younger, the first sort of symptoms were popping up, but it wasn't very severe. But it was, I think, 2 or 3 years into our marriage, I went to London and I was diagnosed with a condition that meant I was going to lose all my sight completely.
So that was a bit of a shock, really, just a couple of years into the marriage.
I think Kathy's response to that when we first heard it was quite natural, really, quite extreme, and thinking that was the end of everything, our hopes and our dreams and future. And myself, probably a little bit more logical in the way that I approached, was I haven't actually changed. How I was feeling and seeing yesterday is the same today. True, our future changed, and I think that's what we're really wrestling with. You were looking much further ahead than I was. But it was a big, heavy thing to have to deal with.
I think every marriage has to make sacrifices for each other, no matter what situation you find yourself in, but particularly when you have a health issue like this crop up, you're obviously having to help each other out. And I know that I have to take a lot of the strain on a lot of the practical issues and DIY and driving and things like that. I think our relationship has really changed because of this situation. I think it's true that a health issue really places a lot of pressure on you as a couple, but on the other hand, I also think we've grown a lot through it. I think we've grown a lot closer. We've had to talk to each other.
You have to choose to do it, though. I think in marriage is about choosing to be committed. And there are, during the tough days, is you have to say, but I still choose to help, choose to trust and choose to love.
When you go into a marriage, you never know what's around the corner. It could be anything. It could be infertility issues, it could be a redundancy, and it could be, a health issue like we've experienced. And actually to be prepared for that, to know that there are going to be, ups and downs for better and for worse, and that's the way it goes. And you can decide to focus on the positive things that you can do and build on those in your marriage, because it can be very easy on a bad day to focus on the things that you can't do that you would like to be able to do.
And still trying to dream together. I think when you first get married, you have lots of dreams, and then unexpected things pop up in life. Unexpected things always happen. The trick is to keep dreaming about new things you can do, dreaming about adventures that you can still have together, because we still dream about things we want to do.
Well, and it's lovely to know, I think, in the context of a marriage, that there's someone committed to you all the time, that even if these ups and downs happen, that you're not on your own. And for me, that's very, very reassuring. No matter what happens, we've got each other, and that together we can actually get through it.
We all know that choosing to get married is a big decision. It's quite common to feel anxious about the size of the commitment we're about to make. But making that commitment to each other actually really benefits our relationship.
Research shows that couples who understand this commitment will have the strongest marriages. They're more likely to think about the long term. They think more as a unit in terms of we and us. They feel more satisfied in their relationship. Doubts about commitment are very common, and it can be really helpful to talk them through with another couple that you trust. Our commitment to each other doesn't need to be daunting. Getting married is significant, but it's also really great. In marriage, we have the opportunity to bring out the best in each other and grow together over the years.
When life gets busy, it can sometimes be easy to lose focus on the things we love and value in our partner. So take a few moments now to think about those things you do love about each other.
Making this commitment to love our husband or wife will mean putting each other first. Part of that commitment is giving each other time. Sometimes we find it easier to say yes to people who ask us to do things, sometimes too easy, but harder to say yes to those closest to us. I've certainly made some bad mistakes in the early years of our marriage in this area. I was just too busy. And the truth is, there are loads of demands, aren't there, outside of our marriage? But sometimes we have to learn to say no to others and a big yes to our husband or wife.
Perhaps in your marriage, it won't be the priority of time that's the big issue, but the priority of relationships. We may come from a close family where we have a strong relationship with parents or brothers and sisters. But when we get married, our allegiances need to change. We are effectively forming a new family with our husband or wife. We may be bringing children into our marriage from a previous relationship, and this can bring its own challenges.
Commitment often means making sacrifices for one another. These can be small, everyday decisions like deciding to forego our favourite Indian takeaway because our partner prefers Chinese. I confess that Diane makes loads more sacrifices than me. If ever there's a clash of TV programmes between a period drama and a really brilliant football match, she almost always lets me watch the game. She's even learned to love football. In fact, she knows more about footy than most blokes I know. But sometimes we may have to make big sacrifices for each other. These could involve money or career decisions, perhaps where we decide to live.
Sometimes the sacrifices we have to make can be quite serious ones. There may be times in our marriage when things are a little dry. Communication may be at a low ebb, and suddenly we're noticing the smiles and attention of a friend or colleague, and that can seem very attractive. Affairs can happen so fast, but the consequences are huge, and so we need to sacrifice what may seem exciting and fulfilling at that moment for the sake of our long-term relationship, our marriage.
Ultimately, the love we have for each other in our marriage means that other person should always be our priority, our number one. Now, this isn't always easy, but when we get it right, marriage is wonderful. For me, knowing that Diane is looking out for me, putting me first, and is my number one supporter is the best feeling in the world. It inspires me to want to do the same for her. So take some time now to think about how you can put each other first in your relationship.
Ought to be that level of respect and admiration.
Seeing each other's point of view.
Just accept the other person as he or she is.
Acceptance of imperfection
and one's partner.
Giving time for each other as well, so, you know, in your busy schedules.
Being friends, I think.
Yeah.
Friendship, definitely, yeah.
Trust and communication.
Talk about things that are making you unhappy.
Understanding each other, avoiding arguments.
You've got to be able to forgive someone.
You have to work at it in the end.
Give and take.
Love, trust, commitment.
Being committed to each other.
She's my best friend, and I think I'm her best friend.
Looking back over 40 years of marriage, it's been a great adventure.
And I'm so grateful we're together. But it's scary to think at times we could so easily have walked away. I love being married to Di. It's true there have been some tough times, but we've had a brilliant time together. And I honestly feel that we love each other now more than ever. And perhaps best of all, we are great friends. And we wish that for your marriage too.
So we've looked at how you can design your marriage, how you can choose and plan together what your life will be like. Now, whether you've used this time just to reflect on your married life or found that it's altered how you might go about designing it, we hope you feel really excited about your future together. We've discussed a few essential ways to help make your marriage the very best it can be. But building a marriage is a long-term commitment, and we need to keep investing in it throughout the years. You can find additional resources and ideas on our website, where you can also find a list of recommended relationship books. Just like a house needs DIY, marriages, of course, require regular attention. Some couples find it useful just to talk to other couples about their marriage, or to go on a marriage course after they've been married for a few years. Just don't be afraid to seek professional help in the future. If you need it, it's okay. We hope your wedding day plans are going really smoothly and you're also having a whole lot of fun planning it. Remember, the wedding day is just the beginning of your married life together. It's once you step over the threshold and through that front door that the adventure really begins.